Hello. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of people. Welcome back to EGX. I'm so excited to see more of this next game, so I'm going to introduce him and let him get to the good stuff. Please put your hands together for Senior Level Designer for Machine Games, Andreas.
All right. Hello, everyone. It's great to be here at the EGX. This is my first time here. So it's really cool for me because it's my first time here and I get to demo a game I'm really proud over. My name is Andreas Oyerfors and I'm a senior game designer at Machine Games. Machine Games is a studio in Sweden in the city of Uppsala, north of Stockholm. And we focus on making story-driven first-person action adventures. The first game we made together as a studio was Wolfenstein: The New Order. And in The New Order, we took the Wolfenstein series and we moved it into the 1960s and into an alternate history setting where the Nazis had won World War II and taken over the world. So now, with Wolfenstein II, The New Colossus, our hero Blazkowicz goes to America to shoot, stab, and strangle Nazis and try to get a revolution going, because America is occupied and the population is suffering under the oppression and tyranny of the Nazis. I'm not going to stand here and talk for a long time. I want to show you the game, but I want to set the scene a little bit first. We're going to see two locations. It's basically a third into the game. We have Roswell and we have Area 52. And Blazkowicz needs to go to Area 52 with a nuke to blow up a Nazi headquarters there called the Oberkommando. But before he does that, he needs to go to Roswell to meet an ally. And he's doing so incognito. He's dressed as a fireman and is carrying the nuke in a fire extinguisher. And I'm going to demo the game on PC with mouse and keyboard because I'm a PC player at heart. Let's just get going. All right.
Okay, Blazkowicz, look for Papa Joe's All-American Diner. Meet Super Special inside the restaurant. Do not break cover.
And yeah, I really do not need to break cover because the soldiers here can identify me and kill me. So I need to be careful. So this is part of the adventure element of the games we do, which is very important to us. That's Papa Joe's Diner. That's where we need to go. I could spend a lot more time in this level if I want to, but I'm kind of hurrying it on now to get to show you more of the game.
Was hast du heute gelernt, Peter?
I don't know.
Hold your horses.
Stuff.
Practice your German, dear. You'll need it. Was denn für Sachen?
Oh, hello there, sir. Please, have a seat at the counter. I'll be right with you. Ma'am, what'll it be? We're about to close,
Oh,
unfortunately.
it's to go. We'll be quick. Let's see. I'll have the...
Blazkowicz, Special knows you're coming to attack the Oberkommando, but he has no idea you bring in a damn atom bomb. You gotta break him the news.
Especially is the man behind the counter.
Hello?
Come on, Peter. Let's go someplace else.
But Mom, we don't have any buts.
Oh! Bitte schön. Good day, ma'am. You, one strawberry milkshake, please. Oh, I hope you don't have a fire back there to put out. If so, I'll come back another time. I'm sure the fire can wait, Commandant. One strawberry milkshake coming right up.
Fireman, I recognize your face. Very Aryan face it is too. Are you out of Station 1?
There you go, Commandant.
Oh, vielen Dank. Now you, show me your identification papers, please.
Blazkowicz, shut the fucking front door! Before any more goddamn Nazis show for milkshakes!
Not that I don't trust you, Blazkowicz. There's nothing saying you couldn't be wearing a mask made to look like William J. Blazkowicz to hide your alien space lizard facial traits. So, I mean the password Grace gave you.
She didn't give me one.
Right. Off with the mask.
All right, I'm skipping the cutscene. No more spoilers.
Keep going down that tunnel, and you'll end up at the Area 52 cargo train loading depot. Fastest way to Area 52 will be to hitch a ride on one of those cargo trains.
One of the things we worked hard on is trying to give players the ability to play the game they want, the way they want. So we have 3 distinct playstyles, which we call Mayhem, Tactical, and Stealth. Mayhem is basically going in guns blazing, dual wielding. Tactical is the more measured approach, keeping a distance to the enemy, using covers, using more direct damage. And Stealth, well, our Stealth is a very aggressive form of stealth, as you will see. I'm going to try to focus on Mayhem and Stealth in this demo. Yeah, that's a rocket train I need to board to get to Area 52. This is a great area, by the way. Multiple floors, a lot of different pathways. I'm going to start by upgrading some weapons. So throughout the game, you can find upgrade kits for your weapons to better tweak them to kind of your play style, the way you want to play the game. So for the pistol, I'm going to add the suppressor to make it more stealthy. I'm also going to give it the Magnum upgrade to make it more powerful, basically. It also makes more noise when I fire it that way, but if I'm careful, I can still use it stealthily. The Sturmgewehr is our battle rifle. I'm just going to give it armor piercing. There we go. So I'm going to try to stealth through this section. I'm a pretty lousy stealth player, so we'll see how far I get. I'm going to try to stick to the shadows here. There we go. Okay, I want to get down and kill those guys, but I need to get closer for that. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find the commander. If I can kill the commander before the commander sees me, he won't be able to sound the alarm and call for reinforcements. And the commander is more important in this game than in our previous Wolfenstein games, because they can call for multiple reinforcements. So I'm going to try to find him without being seen. And I failed. Oh well. And grab some loot. I need to find the commander to stop the reinforcements from coming. Oh, and he has a dog. Ah. He has a watchdog that I need to be careful about. That's him. All right. Commanders have Enigma codes that I can loot and use to decipher the location of Eber commanders later in the game, which is very important if you get the revolution going. All right. All right, so I need to lower the rocket engine to get on it. And of course, you can dual wield. Oh, don't do that. That's Super Salot. He's a badass. All right. Taking the last of the loot. Right, I should be ready to go on to the train now. Right, I need to get the train going. All right. This is my favorite weapon, the automatic shotgun. I love this thing. The only thing better than the automatic shotgun is 2 automatic shotguns. Right, so in many of the levels, you can usually find different pathways through the level. And some are better for stealth, and some are better for just pure mayhem or a more tactical route. Right, I'm going to see if I can be a bit stealthy. That's called the Übersoldat. That's our ninja robot. Someone saw me kill him, I think. So this is a great combination of different weapons to use. I have a long-range weapon and a close-range weapon. That's the commander. Taking his Enigma card. Okay, so that's a super soldier. I'm going to show you, let's see, I'm going to show you another weapon that shoots explosive projectiles. Let's see. There we go. So this weapon can shoot projectiles that either detonate on impact, or I can set them to detonate remotely. I'm going to try the latter now and see how that works out. So I'm just going to put a lot of these projectiles on him. So I can kind of create traps and stuff with this weapon. It's really cool to use. But now I'm just going to blow him up. There we go. Oh.
Tut mir leid, ich kann Ihnen nicht ganz folgen.
The concept of the 3 playstyles we have goes all the way to the enemies. So all the enemy types we have can be dealt with the 3 different playstyles. So even the big, huge robots, the towering robots, can be dealt with in a stealthily manner. All right. That's where I need to go. So these weapons are called, it's a category called heavy weapons. Heavy weapons are like a power-up. They don't go into your inventory, and they only last for as long as you have energy or ammo to it, but they're just insanely powerful. And laser weapons in this game are also really cool because they can melt away metal surfaces, so you can create new pathways, you can remove covers. They're really good at armored enemies, and especially robots.
To leave the warhead alone once you planted it, right? But what you gotta do is place it in the Oberkommando's nuclear reactor. That way the Nazis won't be able to track its radiation signature. They won't find it, they won't disarm it.
I better loot up. I need to try to find some ammo and some armor, I think. Armor is extremely important in this game. You need armor, or the damage is going to go right through and take out your health pretty quickly. There we go. Okay, so I need to put a nuke into this reactor here. I'm going to open it. There we go.
I'm arming the warhead now. You may want to bug out of Roswell before this thing goes boom.
Far out, brother, far out. I have my guy at City Hall sound the tornado alarm, evacuate the whole town. Look for an exit and get the hell out of the blast zone. I'm almost done clearing out mission control. At the rendezvous by Galveston.
Done deal.
Okay.
Diese Einrichtung wurde infiltriert. Hochrangige Mitglieder des Oberkommandos vereinbaren für sofortige Evakuierung. Wiederhole, diese Einrichtung wurde infiltriert. Hochrangige Mitglieder des Oberkommandos vereinbaren für sofortige Evakuierung.
What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to shoot out one of its legs. Yeah, I think that did it. That robot is pretty good at killing his own friends, which I like. Oh shit. All right, I think that's a pretty fitting place to end the demo. Ooh, before I die. All right, I think that's it. I think we have time for some Q&A.
Hello again.
Hello.
Thank you so much for that. That was pretty badass.
Pretty hectic.
So what was it like bringing the game to America?
Oh, I mean, even from when we started thinking about doing Wolfenstein: The New Order, we always wanted to kind of make a Wolfenstein game in the 1960s in America, because the 1960s was a very important time period for America when it came to civil rights and pop culture and everything, right? So it was a kind of a given for us to do that.
It's almost like turning it all just completely on its head.
Yeah, it is.
So we saw New Mexico and we saw Roswell there. Can you tell us any other areas that we might be going to?
I don't want to give a lot of spoilers. I mean, we go to different areas in America, and part of the kind of the action-adventure thing we're doing is that part of the adventure is that we want to surprise the player. We don't just want to give you a list of this is where you go. We want to surprise you at every turn.
I mean, fair enough, because story is so important to this game, and I think that's why so many people love it so much. So, like, is there going to be? I mean, one of the things I really loved about the first game was the hub world, where you could kind of like come back to and then sort of meet all your sort of motley crew of guys. And sort of have some downtime. Like we saw it a little bit in Roswell there. I like areas of this game where you can actually take your time and look around and sort of absorb story that way. Yeah. Are we going to have like those kinds of areas?
Right. So, well, we have in the New Order, you steal like the world's biggest nuclear submarine.
Yeah.
So that's kind of your hub in this game. So every now and then you go back to the hub, and you can do side missions, and you meet, you know, the Resistance crew. And that crew and that gang of people is just going to grow throughout the game as you make contact and organize together with other smaller resistance groups throughout America when you're trying to start that revolution. So kind of the cast of that submarine just grows and grows throughout the game.
I love it. And we've seen, like in the most recent trailer, I just love all the story threads that sort of come out of that. How are you dealing with the Fergus and Wyatt? Because there are actually, do you pick at the start of the game, like which of those you chose to save in the previous game?
Yeah, right. So at the end of the New Order, BJ Blazkowicz is almost dead. So he's really in a really bad shape in the beginning of this game. So we start the game with flashbacks and kind of these nightmarish sequences that goes through his head. And in one of those flashbacks, you're back in Death's compound, and you get to make the choice again between Fergus and Wyatt. So yeah, we keep those timelines. Fergus and Wyatt are very important characters in this game.
And that will actually, like the previous game, that actually affects some power-ups and items that become available. Am I right in saying that's how the Diesel Kraftwerk is available?
Yeah, right. So the Diesel Kraftwerk is, I think that's Wyatt's timeline.
Right.
And in Fergus' timeline, you get the Laser Kraftwerk. So yeah, we try to make gameplay differences in how you can play the game, depending on which timeline you play.
It's quite a tough choice. I think I want the Laser Kraftwerk, but the Diesel Kraftwerk does look pretty cool. So you're not making it easy for us.
I always keep Fergus because I love Fergus.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
It's the accent, doesn't it? Really. I mean, how hard is it? Like just going bigger and better when the original game is so over the top anyway. I mean, it must be quite hard. Like you must run out of ways to sort of, I don't know, crack a skull or snap a neck, like with all those gruesome takedowns and stuff. Do you have like kind of brainstorming sessions where you're trying to always better yourselves?
Well, when we released the New Order, we were happy with that game, but we also saw that we can take it further. So what we tried to do now was to just dial up the intensity and quality of all the core components. So yeah, it's a more intense game that way. But we still try to. We want to keep it grounded somehow. I mean, it's not a very realistic game, and it's not supposed to be. This is Wolfenstein, but it needs to be kind of authentic and grounded in some way. So we try to find that balance, both in gameplay, but also in the story. I think the story now is both bolder, but also more personal at the same time. So we try to keep and find that balance.
I mean, I'm lucky enough to have played the sequence that we just saw, nowhere near as good as this. Although I did take down that big guy, and I was very proud of myself. But the combat, it feels familiar in a good way. Is it a case of kind of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it?
If it's good, just improve it.
Right.
Well, I mean, I think we wanted to just take it further and make it better and better. You have to realize that when we built the New Order, we were also building the studio at the same time. So I think this game is our first game when the studio of Machine Games is firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, it is amazing. And we've seen some glimpses of the Da'at power suit now, especially in the most recent trailer. Can you talk us through a little bit about how that sort of fits in and how that will work as a mechanic?
The Da'at stuff that was something we introduced instead of the paranormal elements that was part of the earlier Wolfenstein games, and it kind of brings this retro sci-fi aesthetic to the game. Exactly what that contains and what it will bring to this game is something I think the players should discover for themselves.
And then I guess the game it does tackle a lot of really dark issues, but with a lot of good humor. And some of the cutscenes, I mean, it is a great story. Some of the cutscenes are really quite touching, and interactions with other characters. Do you think that that's an important thing in making a shooter that is just really fun?
Having some darkness to it, or what do you mean?
Yeah, well, I guess nobody really, asks for, sometimes people don't really ask for a shooter to have a good story, do you know what I mean? Like sometimes it's just all about the gameplay, but it seems like you guys really take time to make a good story as well.
I think that just comes out of the nature of machine games and our writers, you know. Having that human element to it and having these stories that hopefully matters to the people playing through the game is just super important to us. So we spend a lot of time on the story. We call it an action adventure, right? And the action is super important, but the story is just as important, we think.
And I guess, how does BJ stay so fit at his age?
How does
BJ stay so fit? Like he's starting to get, he's got like a baby on the way and everything now, and he's just like completely like running straight through guys. He's doing pretty good.
Well, I mean, that's kind of part of the story of BJ's story in this game. He starts out in a very bad shape, almost dead. He's dying. The first combat level is in a wheelchair, rolling around in a wheelchair, shooting Nazis. So that's part of the story of the game, how he faces his own mortality and how he, you know, continues on.
What was that idea for? I mean, because it's kind of like a bit unusual. You start players off really on the back foot, like you're very, very vulnerable and your health's lowered and you know, you feel like really sort of backed into a corner. Is that to kind of make people feel more empowered later on, or like, as you say, just make them feel his mortality a bit more?
It's part of his journey in the story, and it's also about trying to tie gameplay to the story. So that's why in the demo he never goes above 50% health, because he's still in a pretty bad shape there. So he has to rely a lot on armor to survive early on in the game. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Andreas. That was really fun. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Right, thank you.